Hello, welcome to the Unit 1 overview. Hopefully this will be very brief, so I'll just get right in there and share my screen. I have it in student view so that you can see. I'm going to hop over here to modules. And so I have each unit overview set up with the overview itself, an introduction to what we will be working on for the next couple of weeks, as well as all the learning materials that will be used over week 1 and week 2. So unit 1 is the rhetorical analysis, and I'll open up the overview. This will actually be where this video is housed. It's not here right now. So there's a lot of reading to complete in this first week, but it's very important information, and I have broken down the readings in the weekly module so that there are areas that you should focus on more than others. But you'll learn about the rhetorical situation, as well as the rhetorical appeals and rhetorical strategies that's used to persuade an audience. That's primarily what we're focusing on in these first 2 weeks of our semester. I've decided to focus on how advertisers use rhetorical strategies because I think that's a more interesting way to approach rhetorical analysis. Hopefully you all agree with that too. So let's look down here at the learning objectives. You'll be expected, and you should know how to apply active and critical reading strategies to multimodal texts, and you will read about multimodal texts in the Writer's Loop. Your textbook. You will also demonstrate an understanding of the various rhetorical appeals. You'll assess peer writing and recommend revisions. You will apply knowledge of rhetorical strategies to writing and utilize correct MLA style and conventions. And lastly, analyze a rhetorical situation by examining audience, purpose, and context. And this last one here is actually the first of the overall course learning objectives. So by completing this rhetorical analysis, we are meeting that first course objective. So I'll go click next. That will take us to the page with the learning materials. So I've broken it down into reading assignments and resources. And this is just a general overview of the reading assignments that we will have in the Writer's Loop. You'll start out with chapter 1.3, which is understand expectations for academic writing. I don't think there's a need for you to read all of chapter 1. If you enjoy reading textbooks, go for it. But I just want you to focus on 1.3. And then we'll have chapter 2, understanding rhetoric, chapter 5, reading actively and critically to create meaning. And then we'll go back to chapter 4, which is improving your draft using feedback and revision. And I've assigned it this way because this chapter 4, especially chapter 4.1, I think has to do with peer review, and this will actually be assigned in the second week. Then the resources down here, we have a link for my rhetoric lecture, link to a YouTube video that I think is a good example of how to understand advertising and how they use persuasive techniques, as well as the rhetorical appeals that they use. There's also a download for an example rhetorical analysis essay, and I have some suggested dates when these might be done. There's also a rhetorical analysis of Budweiser Super Bowl commercial, which might help you as you think about what kind of advertisements. They can be video ads or they can be print ads. Either way is fine with me. Then there's a link for a Canvas tutorial on how to actually do peer review. So that will take you through the steps of where to look for the certain things so that you can make comments and provide your peers with feedback. And there's also a handout or a page that has a peer review guide. And then I have some peer response questions, which will help you again to as a guide for you to provide some meaningful feedback to your peers. There is also a revision lecture that has been posted, and then I have a revision and editing checklist. And lastly, we have this link to the Purdue OWL MLA format, and I'm just going to click on that quickly. And this takes you to a page that tells you how to format your paper in MLA style. And if you scroll down kind of towards the middle of the page, there's an example of what your page should look like as far as having a header or a heading. This here is a heading with your name, your instructor's name, the course, and the date. And then you should have a page header with your last name and the page number, then a centered title for your essay, and then how your essay should look. You know, each paragraph should be indented. The page should be double spaced, so on and so forth. So this page explains how to do that, and that's a helpful guide. And then there are other links. So I'll be referring to this page time and again, especially as we get into using in-text citations and creating a works cited page for the research project. So that's the Purdue OWL link, and I think that's very helpful. So I think that is it overall. We'll be focusing on rhetorical analysis in advertising. So hopefully you're excited by this, and look for the week 1 overview video that I will be posting. Thank you. Bye.